Atop the Fourth Wall's Monster Madness! Well, it's the end of this year's Monster Madness, and I like to bring you something modern at this point, so let's talk about a fairly recent movie that harkens back to the past. As I've said before, I'm a fan of found footage movies. A lot of people don't like them for a variety of decent reasons. Shaky camera, long drawn-out sequences of nothing happening. When something does happen, it's not that interesting. Unlikable characters. But the thing is that found footage, like any subgenre, has a lot of variety to it. And also, like any other subgenre, it has a lot of tropes with it. Just like the old dark house genre will tend to have travelers forced to stay in a creepy place, or slasher movies tending to have a masked or unknown killer, found footage movies will have their opening text saying the makers of the footage disappeared, or that people will still be filming despite any sense they possess should be telling them to drop the camera and get the hell out of there. And like those other subgenres, it doesn't mean those movies using them are bad, it's just common, and even if things are well executed, it can feel derivative of much more popular movies. Paranormal Activity isn't that scary anymore because everybody's copied it and done the formula better. But it's still influential, and that just means sometimes you've got to find the ones that really stand apart that help show how the subgenre still has life in it. And thus we have the WNUF Halloween Special.
You're watching the WNUF Halloween Special.
I love how they always emphasize Halloween. It sounds like Mr. Burns. And that bumper is so cheesy and yet so authentic. I love it. The premise goes like this. On Halloween in 1987, a local TV news team did a special on the infamous Weber House, a place supposedly haunted after a guy murdered his family there. Shades of Amityville horror. But the movie isn't presented as the raw footage of them going into the house, like in Grave Encounters, but rather someone's VHS recording off of TV of the special, complete with the evening news before the special starts, along with tons and tons of fake commercials. The whole thing is presented like how it would be watching this sort of thing on a local TV station or affiliate at the time. There's a commercial for a local carpet place, an ad for a mall with an arcade, campaign advertisements for upcoming elections, and none of it is ever winking at the camera or presented as anything but authentic. And it feels authentic. From the fact that the quality makes it look like a second or third generation copy of a VHS tape, to how normal people would dress and talk, not the stereotyped 80s. The whole thing is presented like an actual tape from that era, and it's glorious. Honestly, the most unrealistic thing about it is that you don't get any repeats of the same commercial. Well, except for the carpet store one. Gotta see that one again for some reason. When you get older, you start getting nostalgic for a lot of stuff from your youth, and that even includes commercials. TiVo and DVR were a big game changer when I was a kid because we could suddenly skip past commercials, but even nowadays it's fun to look back on them. And that's how this movie really knows how to play with you. When you first watch it, you're more interested in the commercials than the actual special. You just want to know what they're gonna parody next. A drug PSA, an orange juice commercial. My favorite is for a low-budget TV show that uses a Klingon battlecruiser model as a prop. But then as the special goes on, you start getting more invested in what's going on inside the Weber house that you're like, why are you cutting the commercial? It was just getting good! The most convincing found footage movies are actually the ones that are much more low-key and believable. It's the weird noise you hear that can't be explained. The scariest part is everything that we can't see, because it's from the point of view of someone experiencing it, and it makes us feel like we're right there with them. So when weird stuff starts to happen in the Weber house, it's like it's happening to us too, and we just want to see what the eventual explanation for it all is. Is it haunted? Is it all a big hoax for the special? Is there something else at work here? Well, you've got to watch the special for yourself. Here, have a taped copy that I made. On that note, the filmmakers did a pretty unique marketing campaign like that, making VHS hand-labeled copies of the movie and leaving them at various locales, conventions and whatnot, to see if they could convince anyone it was a real thing. I don't know if they succeeded in fooling anyone, but it's nice to know that it ended up on the medium it was emulating. That's it for this year's Monster Madness. I hope you had some good spooky fun, whether it's making new memories of the season, or reliving some old ones as you turn down the lights and put in a Halloween special of days gone by. And remember everyone, April Fools.